We are very good in finding fault with others and overlooking our own. If in your surrounding you find people who are not having social sense to adjust, they are only concerned about their own personal liberty, then you will be a victim. The author in this paragraph, in the next paragraphs that we will study, will tell us certain things. He will share some personal experience from his own life where he became a victim because of the presence of such people having no social sense. Let us go to the next paragraph. I got into the railway carriage at a country station the other morning and settled down for what the schoolboys would call an hour's shoot at a blue book. The truth is that I never read blue books for pleasure. I read them for the very humble purpose of turning an honest penny out of them. Now, if you are reading a book for pleasure, it doesn't matter what is going on around you. I got into the railway carriage at a country station the other morning. These are certain words. I told you earlier that we found it did not occur in the video, in the very first video. I told you it did not occur is a statement, is a usage which the author is very fond of using. Here, this is a sentence, and with this sentence, another writing of the author starts. That writing of the author is called The Open Window by A.G. Gardiner. The open window starts with this kind of sentence. I got into a railway carriage at a country station the other morning. And here also we have got a similar sentence inside this essay. I got into the railway carriage at a country station the other morning and settled down for what the schoolboys would call an hour's shoot at a blue book. Two words are new here, shoot and blue book. The author said that one day he entered a railway carriage railway compartment at a country station. The word country here is used as an adjective, and country here means rural. In a rural station, he entered into the railway carriage and going there, entering the station, the railway compartment, he took his seat, and after sitting, he started something. What did he start? What he started after taking his seat, in the language of the schoolboys will call it shoot. What is this shoot? Shoot means hard work. Usually school students or college students like you also, you open your textbook and you study, and then you have to learn the things. If you are watching my video also with your textbook in front of you, you need a lot of concentration. You need to focus on the topic. You should not be disturbed by any external force. You have to concentrate. You have to be able to concentrate. So studying something for a long time with full concentration, with a lot of efforts, hard labor, that is called shoot, that school children often do. The author said, entering into the compartment and taking his seat, and then he started what school students will call shoot. He started hard work. What was the hard work he was doing? He was working hard on blue book. What is the blue book? It is given here. A blue book is a book containing official records. If you are a lawyer, for example, you will have to fight the case in favor of your client in the court. So you have to study very well what are the rules and what are the bylaws and what sections and subsections are there, according to which section you can save your client, you can make him win the case. This is what you have to do. If you are an officer in any other department, you have to know the government rules, etc. Because going to the office, you have to execute them. You have to know the things well. So when you are a responsible person, you are doing such a job, you have to study the things very well, like a schoolboy who studies his chapter. And that is what the author was doing. He was studying, he started studying blue book. He started learning, he started studying the blue book in the same way as a schoolboy will do with his textual chapters. The truth is that I never read blue books for pleasure. If you read something for pleasure, for example, you have bought a story book and you are reading it sitting in the railway compartment. So people are disturbing, hawkers are coming, they are making sound, someone is interfering in your reading. It doesn't matter because you are reading it for pleasure. It is not, there is no serious objective behind it. Or even you are reading a newspaper, it is not that everything you have to learn, and after a while someone will ask you what are the news today, and you have to tell everything in which page, what news is published, you have to tell everything. That is not the case. So when you read a newspaper, when you read a storybook for pleasure, this is a different thing. But when you read something seriously, for example, you have to learn the answers, you have to write the answers, you will have to submit your home assignment before your teacher, you have to learn the answers for your examination, then you need a lot of seriousness, you need a lot of silence. The truth is that I never read blue books for pleasure. I read them for the very humble purpose of turning an honest penny out of them. What is this turning an honest penny out of them? Turning an honest penny out of them means earning money in an honest way. Turning an honest penny. It means earning money honestly. This is my job. If I study it well, if I know the rules, the government rules, for example, someone is working in the land revenue department, he should know the land laws, etc. So I need to know the things so that I can help people, I can suggest people, I can counsel them about these things, and I can earn money in this way. That is a part of my job. So I read blue book for earning money honestly. I want to know things, I want to utilize my knowledge in my practical field. I don't read the blue books for pleasure only. Now, if you are reading a book for pleasure, it doesn't matter what is going on around you. I have told you earlier, if you are reading something for pleasure, maybe at any point if you are disturbed, you can stop it, you can close your book, you can enjoy your surrounding atmosphere, no problem. If you are reading it for pleasure. But for the author, it is not a matter of pleasure. He is reading it for serious reasons, for some serious objectives. But when you are reading a thing as a task, you need reasonable quiet. Yes, if you are reading something as a task, it is an assignment, it is a part of your job, then you need to have reasonable silence you need to have. And that is what I didn't get. The author needed reasonable silence for his fruitful reading of the book, but this is what he did not get. Why? For, this word for here means because. For is often used to mean because. For in came a couple of men. In came, it should actually came in. Instead of writing came in, the author said in came. I discussed this thing while we studied the daffodils, that it is called hyperbaton, when the order of words is changed. Instead of saying came in, the author said in came. Who came in? In came a couple of men. A couple of men means a pair of individuals, two persons entered in the next station, one of whom talked to his friend for the rest of the journey in a loud and pompous voice. You will encounter such people in your journey also, that you are sitting in a train, in a railway compartment or anywhere in a public place, and someone is showing his knowledge and his heroism and talking very loudly. In a loud and pompous means high sounding voice, not bothering about what other people are doing. In a railway compartment, if somebody is reading a book, you can do things in a quiet way. It is not your drawing room, it is not your home, it is a place where people from different parts have come and they are all traveling together, so everyone's individual liberty should be taken into account. But those two persons who entered that compartment in the next station, one of them did not bother about it. He was talking to his friend in a very loud and pompous voice all through the journey. The author said, as I wrestled with clauses and sections, his voice rose like a gale, and his family history, the deeds of his sons in the war, and his criticisms of the generals and the politicians submerged my poor attempts to hang on to my job. As I wrestled, the word wrestle, what is this wrestling? Wrestling, you know, fighting with your arm to defeat others, wrestle. You fight with others, that is wrestling. The author said, as I wrestled with clauses and said, what is this wrestling? This wrestling does not mean this wrestling in the literal sense. By wrestling means the author was trying to understand the meanings of the text. That in the blue book which he was studying, in the text there were sections and there were subsections and there were clauses and sub-clauses. He found it very difficult. He was trying to understand them very well and since it was very difficult, he was trying to understand it. He is comparing this situation with wrestling. In a wrestle, you have to fight well, you have to defeat your enemy, you have to know the tactics. The author said, I was wrestling with sections and subsections and clauses in the blue book to understand them. As I was doing it, his voice, the voice of one of those two persons, his voice rose like a gale. A gale is a strong wind. It's a strong wind. If a strong wind comes, enters through your window, you cannot sit properly, you find it very uncomfortable. That is what happened, that the man's voice came like a strong wind, where the author was trying to understand those clauses and sections of the blue book. And what was the man talking? He was talking about his family history, the deeds of his sons in the war. Deeds means actions. How his son fought well in the war, about his son's achievements and the family history, and also the criticism of the generals, the army officers, the generals. He was criticizing them. He was criticizing the politicians. And all these long and pompous talk of the man, which was very personal actually, he should not have talked these things in the railway compartment, but he was not only speaking, he was speaking with a very loud voice, so much that the author could not read his blue book in silence. And all this criticism and his pompous voice, they submerged. Submerged, the word submerged means flooded, flood. The whole area is submerged. It means the whole area is flooded. Submerged, that is the meaning. But here the word submerged means it doomed, it caused my, if an area is submerged, if an area is flooded, it means the normalcy of the area is lost. The same is the case. The author found that all his attempts to read the blue book went in vain. It became fruitless because of the man's long talk, high-sounding words. All his criticism of the generals and politicians submerged my poor attempts to hang on to my job. I tried to hang on to my job. I tried to stick to my job. I tried to understand the things. I tried a lot. But the way he was talking and the sound of his words, they submerged my thought. They made my attempts fruitless. I shut up the blue book, looked out of the window, and listened warily while the voice thundered on with themes like these. The author found that it is impossible to read the blue book to understand anything in this situation. He closed the book. He looked outside the window, and there was no other choice because the way the man was talking, his sound will automatically enter the author's ear, even if he was not willing. And he said, I listened warily. Warily means in a tired way. He was already tired. He was mentally upset. In this tired in this tired situation, he was just listening to the man's voice. And the man's voice thundered on. Thundering sound you must have heard in the sky when there is, before the coming of the rain, there is thundering and lightning also. Thundering sound is often very terrible. You become shocked, you start shivering, you become afraid. Such thundering sound the man was making while talking about his family history, etc. And the themes, what were the themes, what were the topic on which he was discussing? The author is giving certain topics with inverted commas. His topic was, he's saying, now what the French ought to have done. They were perhaps talking about the Second World War. What the French ought to have done. In our situation, for example, if someone is talking, he may be showing his expertise, his knowledge that Modi should have done it, Donald Trump should have done it, China should not have done it, Congress should not have done this. In this way he is talking. This man was saying like this, what the French ought to have done. Then again he is saying the mistake the Germans made. Then again he says, if only Asquith was Lord Oxford. He was a famous British statesman and writer. Statesman means he was more than a politician. A politician and a statesman, you must have got it in political science. A statesman is someone who is having concern for his country, and he is of a superior quality than an ordinary politician. So this Asquith was a British statesman and a writer. So this man also referred to Asquith. If only Asquith had, then he said something which the author did not mention. You know the sort of stuff. The author said all these are known facts. Everybody knows these things. And this man was giving his comment on this, and he was, you know the sort of stuff. Stuff, S-T-U-F, stuff here means things. This kind of things everyone knows. I had heard it all before. Oh, so often. So often I have heard these things. People, everybody talk about it. In newspapers, these things are published. There is nothing new about it. It was like a barrel organ. What is this barrel organ? Barrel organ is a kind of musical instrument. We have got a good number of musical instruments mentioned in this lesson. It was like a barrel organ. It was like a musical instrument called barrel organ, groaning out some uninteresting song of long ago. If someone is playing a music in which a very old and boring song is played, no one is interested in it, and along with this there is very harsh music also. So it will be boring. The author said all these things that the man is delivering lecture on, that he was talking on, these things are quite new, quite known, quite familiar. Nothing new is there. And so it was a really boring topic, and he was pompously talking on all these. Now the question will be, why did the author ask this man, please speak in a low voice, or I am studying. You know very well, for such people, if you say like this, they will think you are not social. They will have a negative view of you. Such are the people. The author said, if I had asked him to be good enough to talk in a lower tone, I dare say he would have thought I was a very rude fellow. If I would have requested him to talk in a lower tone, I am sure that he would have thought that I am a rude fellow. Actually, he was a rude fellow. He was unkind. He did not have social sense. But if I had made a request to him to speak in a lower tone, he would have thought I am unsocial. It did not occur to him. Again, we have got this expression. It did not occur to him. It means he did not even realize this fact that anybody could have anything better to do than listen to him. The way he was talking, it appeared as if his lecture was the most important thing there, that if anyone misses it, he will miss something very important in life, that if anyone listens to his speech, he will be very much enriched. But the author said this man did not realize the fact that people sitting in a compartment, they might have better things to do than listening to his talk. And I have no doubt he left the carriage convinced that everybody in it had, thanks to him, had a very illuminating journey. The way he was talking with all self-satisfaction, from his body language, it appeared that he was delivering a lecture and he thought, I am saying something very appropriate, something that no one knows, something that everyone will be profited from. And the author said when he left the compartment, I am sure he had the opinion, he had the view of himself that, oh, I have done a good job, and all the people, they must have a very illuminating journey, they must have a very brilliant journey, they must have enjoyed the journey, they must have learned a lot from me. With this kind of thought, the man has left the compartment. This is what the author thinks. Then the author said, a reasonable consideration for the rights or feelings of others is the foundation of social conduct. That is, again, the author is actually emphasizing on this point, that for social conduct, the core point is that you should have a reasonable consideration for the rights and feelings of other people. Other people have their right. This author, he has the right to read the blue book. Other people have the right to enjoy the silence or to talk among themselves. And other people's rights and other people's feeling also, they may not like the way you are talking. Other people's rights and feelings should be respected. And you should not interfere in their enjoyment of their personal choices. So this is the author says at the end that the foundation of social conduct is that we should pay respect to other people's rights and feelings. So this, the author will elaborate in the coming paragraphs. He will say some more things on the similar things. Let us wait for the next video then. Thank you very much for being with me.